Let's go to Paul, he, him in Texas. Hey, Paul, you're on with Dave and Paul. What's on your mind?
Hey, so glad to get through to you guys tonight. Dave, you're one of my heroes. I'm going to tell you that right now. And Paul,
Thank you.
we share a very similar experience. I was raised very fundamentalist Christian, and coming out of that, I deconverted. And through my deconversion process, I basically tried to realize how the world really is and live in such a way that it does. And since becoming an atheist, I lost my dad back in 2017. And it hurt, but I realized, hey, he's not in pain anymore, and he lived a good, long life. But recently, about a month ago, my best friend died 2 days before his 32nd birthday. And
Really sorry.
it hurts. It really, really hurts.
Yeah.
And as an atheist, I have come to the realization that he's gone, and that I can't pull out a Ouija board, and I can't just go to church and light a candle for him, and he's really gone. And
Was it a sudden? Was it sudden, Paul, or was it?
I think that's part of the worst part is we still don't know the cause of death. We know he was out with friends, and later that night there's a 911 call, and he was unresponsive, and the medical examiner called his mom, and then they called me early in the morning on a Saturday morning to tell us, can you identify this person?
Wow.
Oh.
No,
so I think not knowing.
You didn't get time with him. You didn't get to say goodbye is what I was asking you if it was sudden. Yeah.
Not in any meaningful way. Although I was actually feeling down the day before, and I texted him because he was the person I could always reach out to, and he would, give me advice, and I'd give him advice, and it was just, hey, I need something, and we had actually made plans to go out the next day, the day that he died. That night, we were supposed to go out, get some drinks, and get caught up on things. And when his sister texted me and called me that afternoon to tell me he'd passed away, I was I'm still kind of in disbelief and shock. But I guess my question is, and I know Paul's here. I know Shannon lost her dad recently, and some things hurt. Some loss hurts more than others. And hearing a priest up there try to blow smoke up people's ass that he's right next to Jesus now, and we can all just look forward to seeing him again. Like as nice of a thought as that kind of is, even though I think that's actually not a really nice thought. I do know, he did have traumas in his life, and there was pain. He did have anxiety and depression. And part of me says, at least he's not suffering anymore. At least the pain is gone. But now the pain is on me. It's on those of us that are here, his mom and dad, his sister. So how can we, Dave, you're facing you're facing it head on, and that's why I can't not watch your show, because it's inspiring to me. And so I really do appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate, Paul, all the work that you do, especially how kind and charitable you are to people that grew up like we did. People that are honest, good, not apologists, but just honest people that believe what they were told. And so I appreciate facing the world in an honest way and coming to grips with reality. Yeah. And, other than I have reached out to Grief Beyond Belief, and they've got some great resources. And one thing I like that they say on there is it's grieve in your own way. Don't let anybody tell you how you're grieving is not the right way. But, I'm also conscious that, when I get really upset, I can hurt the people that are around me. I don't want to do that. So what's a healthy way to kind of prepare for losing someone? What's something that I can do so that when I'm gone, people can be comfortable with my loss?
Paul, your thoughts first off?
So like Dave, I think I've talked about this on Dave's other show. I had a diagnosis where I had only weeks to live. I was basically told I had only weeks to live, and that definitely shapes how you did. And I honestly believe that in those kind of circumstances, it is easier for the person who is going to pass potentially than it is for the people who are going to stay. And what I needed to do, especially since everyone I was dealing with was believers too, who honestly thought if I was going to pass that month, I was going to have eternity in hell. You asked the question, how can you prepare people or that kind of thing? I mean, one of the things you will need to do if you have theists in your life is assure them that you're okay, that you're okay with this decision, and that you're not afraid, and some of those kind of things. Maybe you are afraid. I guess I don't know, but where was I going with all that? It's one of those things that if it ends up
But
happening to you, you don't necessarily know how you're going to react. I don't think I could have predicted that. My big takeaway was I'm not mowing the lawn anymore. That's just I'm not doing that's my thing 'cause I don't enjoy it. But man, it's tough when facing these things, facing the reality, and getting the hard pill to swallow versus the comforting thought that maybe we'll see everyone again is obviously the harder route to take. Everything just feels trite to say, but it's one of those things where, boy, you spoke of your friend so highly here. You spoke so I could tell the joy that you had in your voice every time you were saying something about that they were. You could reach out to them, and your voice lifted. I don't know if you were conscious
yeah,
of that every time, and when you did that, that is the celebration of that you had the time, and it feels like the trite thing, better to not love and lost, but it is one of the things. You had this friend who was meaningful, and it sounds like you were meaningful to each other. And you know, would you have chosen not to have that time just because it was going to be short? Like you probably wouldn't have. You would have absolutely signed on board day one of that friendship, knowing that it was only going to be
Yeah.
shorter than you wanted it to. So those are some randomness. I don't know if anything in there meant anything, but
It's good. No, it's good. I'd forgotten that you had that diagnosis. We talked about that a couple of years ago when you were on my show, and
Mhm.
it changes your perspective on everything. It does. But I think your point is valid, Paul. The person who loses someone has it harder than the person who goes away. I'm aware of that in my life as I'm facing the end of days. For me, I'm aware that Bevan, my partner, and especially her, but also my kids, my son, especially who I'm close with, and then a bevy of wonderful friends that I have are going to miss me. They're going to feel the loss acutely that I'm not there anymore. And that's what you're feeling, Paul, with your friend who you lost suddenly. The sad thing to me in your situation, and I had an experience very similar in that I lost my best friend years ago, suddenly
mm,
to a freak accident. He and I pastored together. I had moved, he was in Arkansas and I'd moved to Tennessee, so we didn't have the proximity, but we talked on the phone at least twice a week about everything. And then suddenly he was gone, and it was just a phone call I got from a mutual friend, and Steve's gone. And I had actually dedicated my book to him because that was the loss I felt more than any other. I've lost family members, I've lost former church members, I've lost other friends, but this was the loss that I felt the most acutely. And it's because of the close proximity that we shared, the closeness that we lived life with. Even though when he died, I was still a believer, and I've often wondered what those conversations would have been like with him as I deconstructed, because
yeah,
I would have talked
yeah,
with him about it. Go ahead.
and it's so great. I value definitely both of your points of view. I actually kind of forgot about what you went through, Paul. I've seen you talk about it on your channel before, but yeah, it's those of us that are left behind that kind of deal with the pain. And sometimes I think it's okay for us just to talk to them like they are here, even though we know they're not, and you know, just to talk things out. I think my therapist agrees with me on that. Sometimes it's
Oh,
good
for sure.
just to get things off your chest.
Sure.
And I guess I just do appreciate both your time today, and you both made a lot of sense, and I feel that just having your aspect of the community is valuable in a very unique way that just I don't see anyone else that's really facing death head on, facing loss like as somebody who knows that or is convinced that when we're done, our battery's up, we're expired. There's not a heaven or a hell to go to, and we have to celebrate the time that we have now. And I
Yeah.
feel like y'all have really helped kind of put things into a honest, just good lens, and something that really helped me today. So thank you.
Well, that's good, man. There's no easy way to get through this, Paul, and I agree. You agree with what you've been told. Grieve in whatever way you need to.
Mhm.
Process it in however you need to. And if you talk to your friend every day, who cares? Just do what you got to do because he was taken away from you too soon and too quickly. And it wasn't fair, but as we all know, life isn't fair. And it sucks. But Paul said it right. He said, you had those times together with him. It's reflected in the way that you sound when you talk about him. It's beautiful. And
Mhm.
it tells us that you had a wonderful friendship and you should cherish that and hold on to those memories. And then as you go through the rest of your life, do everything you can to replicate that, to find the people that mean something to you and make the most of those relationships and don't let the moments pass you by. Grab the moments with the people that you love and make this life count. I guess that's the takeaway here.
Absolutely. And life as an atheist has become so much more meaningful than life as a theist ever was, because I'm not, this isn't a dress rehearsal. I'm not,
That's right.
trying to lay up treasures in heaven. I'm just trying to, live my life as good of a person as I can to those around me and try to make a positive impact on this world. So,
Keep
thank you,
doing that,
gentlemen, for your
brother.
time. I'm got to let you go before I break into full on tears here.
Well, there's nothing wrong
Well,
with that. And you call back
yeah.
anytime and let us know how you're doing, brother. Sorry for your loss, brother.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks for the call, Paul.
Thanks for
Right.
calling.
So, thank you.
Ah, man, that's just fucking tough. You could hear the joy in his voice talking about his friend, but you could also hear
Yeah.
the pain. The pain was there. It's real. Ah, damn it.